Hey guys, Theo here from Believe HiFi, and today we've got an awesome new product review and a product that's in a different category than any of the products we've had before. So before I get into it, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I've got some great things coming up moving forward into the future. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as you can see, obviously in the title of this video, we're going to be going over the Innuos Zen that I have sitting right here. So just to get this started, I've had it for quite a while now. I've lived with it for maybe 6 weeks, I believe, and I've done quite a lot of different testing, which I'll go through later, and my methodologies and what I tried and what I changed and things like that. But all in all, what is this product? Well, to me, it's an audiophile PC. It's something that can make your music listening experience better, not just in terms of an audio side of things, but just practicality wise. You know, CDs, streaming, local file playback, everything, it does it all. And I was surprised with the result I got from it on an audio side of things, which I want to elaborate on moving forward. But first of all, why should you have a streamer, player, whatever you want to call it? Basically, how I say it is an upgrade from your laptop or an upgrade from your PC that you're using for music playback. So when I was thinking about would it make a difference, would it not make a difference before I put it into my system, I did have a bias thinking, of course this should make a difference. You know, there's going to be much less noise interference coming through because this thing is designed to provide a cleaner signal. And when you take a look inside, you know, there's purposely designed power supply units in there. There's obviously chosen particular components that are quiet while still being fast enough to handle what needs doing. So I thought, surely with this, the sound that's going to come through and reach the DAC and eventually come out at the end of the speakers to my ears, it should be a bit better. There shouldn't be as much interference. And if you're thinking it's just ones and zeros, what's sending through that cable? Yeah, maybe it's the same ones and the same zeros in the same way. But what about what else is traveling along with that? There's a power part of the story you can't ignore. And everything else that's traveling along with that, it could be interference from many, many different sources. You know, it could be vibration, could be power that's not clean. It could be a million different things. And I've noticed this difference even just changing for good quality cables, especially a power cable straight into amplify. Anything possible that is helping prevent noise interference is going to make a difference. And that is the main reason. This channel, as I've always said, is just about the listening experience. I'm not someone that cares so much about fancy features and, oh my God, it does this, it does this, it does this. I care about the sound. I want to be able to sit there and feel like I'm getting a faithful, organic representation from the music, especially because moving here to Malta, I don't have all my vinyl. I don't have any of it. It's too hard to get it all over here. It's too heavy. So now, being purely a digital listener at this time, I want to faithfully recreate a sound that is free from that harshness and brings me really into the music, where I can sit back and relax for long listening sessions, not just for half an hour, 20 minutes, skipping through songs, playing around. So with that put aside, this product gave me that, and that's why I think you should consider a streamer or a player. You're going to get less interference, a cleaner signal that comes through to your DAC, and therefore the overall response is going to be better. How better? I'll talk about that in the sound side of things. The other thing you're going to get, especially if you're someone that has a listening room, like this is a dedicated demonstration listening room. Before I had something like this, if I wanted to play the digital files, I would have to get my laptop, bring it in, plug it in, play. Now, turn this thing on, turn everything else on, and boom, you know, straight onto your phone, or I'm using a tablet actually to either go through Rune or the iPeng app, and it's just better. I just come in here, I sit down, turn it on, and everything is ready to go. The other thing I love about it, I'm a CD guy. Don't know why, I just love CDs. I mean, for me, a CD or a local file, I mean, not for just for me, but it sounds better than a streamed file. And I just like having CDs. And the cool thing with this is you just pop a CD in, and silently and very quickly it just rips the CD, and now it's just on that hard drive stored. So if you're on Rune or you're using iPeng or whatever you're using through this device, you're going to be able to access that, and it's done. And you've got a local file. Now I don't have to keep swapping in and out CDs. Sometimes I like doing that, but at least I know I've got that CD quality and that actual CD sound on this system here. I've been saying a lot of positive things, but before I move into the next part, I want to bring up one thing that isn't so ideal, but then tell you something else. So, you know, with me, I never rave. I always say, yeah, this is good, but, or this is good, but I always want to give you what I like and what I don't like every time. So at this time, there is no dedicated Innuos app. And when you're using the iPeng or the Squeeze thing, it's pretty good. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty good. But when I look at just the product besides the app side of things, it's so polished. And then when you go to that side of things, it's not quite really that polished. And I've used some, let's say, dedicated or apps for some of the other brands, and they're better. It's just a better feeling. It's cleaner. So that is a little bit of a letdown for the experience, I will be honest. But again, another but, they do have their app and their software coming. I've seen early screenshots into it. I've looked at some early news into it. It does look really, really good actually. But I haven't tried it. I don't know how good it's going to be. I'm sure it will be very good, but I don't know, and I can't tell you honestly. So to sum up the first part of this video, having a dedicated player, streamer, whatever it is, the goal audio-wise, in my opinion, is to get a cleaner signal to the DAC. So therefore you can get a sound that is better or more true to what the file or what those ones and zeros are actually telling everything to do. Okay, so the sound. What did I do? What did I hear? What's my story when it comes to the sound? And as you guys know by now, I have my own way of reviewing things, and the only goal I have is to basically just speak openly and freely and off the top of my head, rather than over detail and try to confuse you guys with technical words. I just want to tell you what happened, what did I experience, so that way you guys can sort of try to relate to that and almost understand, okay, this is what maybe I would get in my room. And before we get into that, just to let you know, price point on this unit, I believe, is, of the time of this video, for the baseline 1 terabyte storage version of the Innuos Zen, is 2,299 euros. And the reason I'm saying that in the sound section is because of this. If you only have speakers and an integrated amp and that's it, there's probably a better way to spend that amount of money to increase sound quality. No doubt about it. There's definitely better ways. I mean, first of all, some acoustic treatment. Second of all, probably a better DAC. There's many ways you could definitely spend the money better for a pure sound quality improvement if that's your setup. But if you're very happy with your speakers, you got a good DAC, got a good amp preamp, however you're set up, you've got some things to sort out room acoustics, you're pretty much down the line where you're thinking, the digital sound I'm getting is good. I'm enjoying it. It's really just, it's right there. Then, boom, introduce something like this into the mix. And this is only talking about sound. Of course, there's practicality benefits as we went through before. But when it comes to sound, this is probably for someone who's already got, everything else sorted. And then this is the last thing that just, boom, pushes everything up a notch. So what really are you going to notice sound-wise? Well, right off the bat, there's 3 very clear things I noticed. First one being the soundstage just seemed to open a bit, almost like a flower just opening up like this and just relaxing here. Or it felt like everything just, I can breathe, that kind of feeling. That's the first thing immediately you notice. It's just a greater sense of relaxation and openness and soundstage width. The second thing I noticed, and it's when we go into detail, there was improvements when it comes to treble and mids, but the main area I noticed improvement was in the low end. 100% without a doubt. Any, let's say a double bass or anything that's deep bass or anything in those bass frequencies, even mid bass frequencies, detail better, texture better, impact better, depth cues better. Everything about the low end was much, much, much better. And it was immediately noticeable, especially if you listen to jazz or something along those lines. The separation of each strum of that instrument is just so much better, and you feel it, and it just seems so much more organic. When you swap out and put back into, let's say, a laptop or a PC, a regular PC, all of a sudden it feels like you just lose so much resolution on those lower frequencies. And that was really the key thing I noticed. And when that happens, it also allows for better noticeable details everywhere else in the range, because there's not this sort of muddy cloud at the bottom of everything. The third thing was things seem to be a little bit less edgy. That feeling where it's a bit sibilant, or just something just seems to be there and it makes your ears get a little fatigued. That sense of sharpness, or people say that digital edge, I don't know what it was, but there was definitely less of that ear piercing or fatiguing thing going on. I could definitely sit and listen for much longer without feeling that. And I even had that feeling where I wasn't listening and trying to just focus so hard, and I wasn't listening as much to my gear. I was more listening to the music. And if I can go for a whole album and sit through it without changing or skipping songs or getting distracted, then I know I have good sound. That's the number one test for me. If I can sit through an entire album without wanting to look at my phone, without getting distracted, without daydreaming or wandering off, then I know something is right. And so with this, I'm very happy actually. Sure, there's better models. Sure, they probably sound better. I would imagine they probably do what I've described, but more. But at this point, I haven't tried their Zenith or Statement level product. I do have the Phoenix coming in, the Phoenix Net, not the Phoenix USB, the Phoenix Net coming in. And when that comes in, I'll spend again another 4 to 6 weeks with it before I have a review there, because I think it's an interesting product and I think it might, confuse some people or maybe spark debate. I think this debate's always fun. It's part of the audio hobby that everyone has a different opinion. I think it's very interesting and we should embrace our different opinions rather than argue over it or get sour or bitter or, fight that person like they've just done something really terrible. It's part of the fun. We all have different opinions. I mean, that's what makes us all uniquely different. Okay, guys, so to conclude everything, sound improvements, yes, you will get sound improvements. Now, if you don't have the rest of your system set up, you'd probably be better off spending that 2,200-ish euros on getting a DAC or something else. But if you've got a system you're happy with, you've got a good amp, you've got a good DAC, you've got a good speed, you got, things are set up, you've looked after your room a bit, you've absolutely nailed your speaker positioning for your room and your seating positioning. For sound quality, this is going to take what's already great and improve it. As I said, and I'll say it again, greater sense of ease, less harshness, better soundstage, absolutely, and most noticeably, details in the lower frequency range. Texture, resolution, impact, it's just much better when it comes to that low end. The other thing, of course, practicality. Definitely a more practical solution than having to drag your laptop in, take your laptop out every time you want to listen to music. You just come in, turn it on, head onto your phone or your iPad or your tablet, whatever you use, and just boom, start playing. If you've got CDs, get them in there, boom, they're straight onto the hard drive. You can play through Rune if you want, obviously as a Rune core. Their new software will be coming out very soon. You can go through that, or you can use the Squeeze or iPing solutions. So what do I have to say? Things I love, sure. Things I don't love so much, the interface. And obviously, if you don't have the other parts in your system set up, this isn't the best way to spend that money to get the most improvement in sound quality. But if you've got everything else set up, this is absolutely something you should look into, even if you don't care about the functionality. And even if you've got everything else set up and you're so happy with your sound, maybe it's just something you want because therefore you have better practicality and convenience. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Please ask any questions in the comments. I'll be very happy to answer. I try to literally answer in depth every question. I've even got some of you guys emailing me, sharing your journey with me. It's a lot of fun. I'm always happy to help, always happy for you guys to reach out, and I'll try give my best opinion and just honest feedback to you guys. So anyway, I'll see you on the next one.